They tried 4 times and failed. 22 miles of freezing ocean stood between 2 continents. For 200 years, they dreamed of crossing it. 2. Horses, oil lamps, no real technology. Just a dream written on paper. In 1880, they actually started digging a test tunnel beneath the English Channel. But the sea always wins. Water flooded the shafts and the project was abandoned. The ocean seemed unconquerable. Then in the 1980s, the British and French, 2 rival nations, one enormous risk. They weren't just building a tunnel, they were physically connecting 2 economies for the first time in history. 3 tunnels running parallel beneath the seabed. 2 main rail tunnels and 1 central service tunnel for safety. On the French side, the village of Sangatte became ground zero for the operation. In England, they launched from the legendary White Cliffs of Dover. Money or politics. It was geology. They had to tunnel through a chalk layer only 20 meters thick, drift a few meters too high and they'd hit porous rock, guaranteed flooding. Drift too low and sticky clay would seize the machine completely. Floor testing mapped the exact route through the chalk marl. On the British side, they faced an immediate problem. How do you build a massive tunnel entrance into a vertical cliff face? They dynamited 250,000 cubic meters of rock just to create a flat base. From chalk and explosives. The French dug a vast circular pit 60 meters deep near the coast. This allowed their massive tunnel boring machines to launch from underground. The pressure at that depth was already enormous before the drilling even began. Machines were not purchased off a shelf. They were custom manufactured for this one mission. 11 machines in total, each one a self-contained underground factory. The cutter head alone weighed 600 tons. This machine had to grind through solid rock and keep a perfectly clean line. Arms would lift and seal prefabricated concrete tunnel segments behind it. These segments were the only barrier between the workers and the full weight of the ocean above. The UK launched 6 machines, 3 for the land section, 3 for the sea crossing. The French machines were sealed face excavators, built for wetter and looser rock. Inside these unventilated tunnels,
no sunlight,
miles from the surface, a pressure cooker deep beneath the ocean floor. The service tunnel took the lead. Advanced. Every single meter was a calculated gamble. Workers watched for water seepage. The earliest warning that the chalk seal was failing had to be found and sealed with grout immediately. Massive floods threatened to trap entire tunnel boring machine crews underground. To stay precisely within that 20-meter chalk layer, they needed absolute precision. A laser beam kept them on the correct path. The primary guide was a gyroscope, an electronic compass that tracked every tiny turn. The operator steered a 1,000-ton machine through solid rock like driving a car. The problem of removing 7.5 million cubic meters of rock and spoil was enormous. A brand new 90-acre coastal platform. They literally pushed the English Channel back. When you don't know where to put the dirt, you build an island. Samphire, Ho exists today because of that decision. The main rail tunnels followed, larger, faster, more demanding. High-speed trains would eventually travel through these tunnels, so the track alignment had to be perfect. Drilling through solid rock, the service tunnel faces were only meters apart from each other. 2 separate teams, 2 separate countries, drilling blindly toward a single point in total darkness. They relied entirely on the gyroscope for alignment, completely wasting years of work and billions of dollars. Then came the final moment of truth. The first pilot hole was drilled through. December 1st, 1990. 2 workers, 1 British, 1 French, shook hands through the gap. The handshake heard around the world. The final alignment error was less than half a meter, across 39 kilometers. That precision is almost impossible to believe. The chalk marl had held. The gamble had paid off. The main rail tunnels followed over the next several months, meeting with equal precision. But what happened to the massive tunnel boring machines after the job was done? The British machines were simply too large to turn around underground. Engineers made a dramatic decision. They sealed the machines in place and left them. 6 British tunnel boring machines, each weighing 1,000 tons, still sit buried beneath the English Channel today. They sacrificed the machines to save time and cost, and brought back to the surface. With the tunnels connected, The real engineer. Giant ventilation fans push fresh air through the full 50-kilometer length continuously. A failure in ventilation deep inside a tunnel would be catastrophic. Every few seconds, high-voltage power cables and signal lines were installed for the 25,000. Trains would travel at up to 160 kilometers per hour underwater. One major physics problem had to be solved. A train moving at that speed pushes a massive wall of compressed air ahead of it through the enclosed tunnel. The greatest fear of every engineer. To address it, every 375 meters a cross passage connects. These passages are the emergency escape route. A complete fire suppression system lines the entire length of both rail tunnels. Emergency lighting systems are fully redundant throughout. Was in financial chaos. The original cost estimate had been The final bill was $9.55 billion. More than double. The engineering was a miracle. The finances were a disaster. Had funded the project, and many would never see their money returned. The terminals at Folkestone in England and Coquelles, a massive logistics hub, was built, essentially a small city designed entirely for cars and trucks. Vehicles drive straight onto specially designed train carriages. High-speed underground journey that changed how two countries move goods and people. On May 6, 1994, the Channel Tunnel was officially opened by Queen Elizabeth and President Mitterrand. The impossible had become reality, separated by water, but joined by steel. The dream that began in 1802 had finally, 2 years after opening, came the ultimate test. A serious fire broke out on a truck shuttle deep inside the tunnel. Flames fueled by tires and cargo spread rapidly. The fire suppression systems activated immediately. The service tunnel became a sanctuary, a safe corridor separating passengers from the fire. Every single person aboard was evacuated safely. Had worked exactly as designed under the worst possible real-world conditions. The three-tunnel design was proved correct. With the later completion of the high-speed one-rail line, the journey from London to Paris was cut to just over 2 hours. Faster than flying when you include airport time, security lines, and transfers. The Channel Tunnel carries over 20 million passengers per year today, and of all trade between Britain and mainland Europe. 11 workers lost their lives during its construction. Their sacrifice built a permanent physical bond between two nations. Engineers once said the English Channel was a natural wall that could never be crossed underground. One of the greatest engineering achievements in all of human history.